Let's open up some headlights. So there's lots of different things to look at. You've got some butyl seals, you've got some perma seals, you've got maybe something kind of in between. Let's go through some of the different options here. What's it going to take? The easiest way to do this is with a butyl seal type headlight. Butyl, think of that as like a stretchy substance that molds around the channel inside the light and helps kind of pinch it together and seal it from outside exposure. 220 degrees Fahrenheit inside your oven for about 15-20 minutes usually is enough to get these separated. The longer you go and the higher the temperature, the stringier this stuff gets. So make sure that you're being careful with how you're opening these and not making a mess around the lens or inside the housing. Next up is going to be your PermaSeal. Here's a BMW headlight that needs a new lens. PermaSeal is more like I guess I would call it kind of a hard rubber substance. So it's not going to be sensitive to heat as much as the butyl is. It's not going to change its shape. Think of it as like a caulking or something like that. And in there, you'll have to probably bump the temperature up a little bit and do a few rounds of heat cycles to try to loosen up the housing. Because what you're doing here is you're not trying to kind of turn the sealant into goo like what we're doing with the butyl substance. We're trying to do is almost kind of expand the housing a little bit using heat, which will allow us to use our tools to get in there and separate the lens from the housing without causing problems. Super important that you go slow and take your time here. Patience is key, because if you push too hard or use too much strength here, you may actually damage the housing. It's also vitally important to, when you do get these two separated, is to clean off all of that permanent seal so you can replace it with another sealant when you go back on. Usually butyl is what we would recommend. That's a lot of fun. And then the one in between, usually these excursion lights, it's some kind of a mix between a permanent seal and a butyl. It doesn't really have stretch, but it does have sensitivity to heat. So you have to play around with this kind of stuff. Just remember, anything more than, say, 250 degrees is probably going to get you in the danger zone. Be careful. Never do too much heat. Take your time, 15-20 minutes at a time. Start to use your tools that you have to carefully separate the lens from the housing. The last thing you can do is bust out your ultrasonic cutter and actually separate the lens from the housing. Now that's something that we can do here as well. We've got the ultrasonic cutter to do it. It's a last resort for us. We always prefer to preserve the stock housing and lens kind of connection where you have that integrity, because if you do cut the lens off, now you're having to seal it on the outside and on the inside to make sure that everything is still working properly. It's totally okay to do that, and we will often run a sealant around the outside edge of a light after we've installed it just to double seal it up. However, when you could keep the integrity of the housing intact, that's usually the way we recommend that you go. Hope that helps, Wise. If you have any questions, please reach out. We're always here to help. HIDprojectors.com, or give us a buzz at 716-662-3479. Thank you for watching.